big businesses. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 3 things that you have to do so that if the IRS question you during the tax season, then you are prepared. So I'm here at the front of the big employer in our town, and this is the hospital. As you can see, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and I'm gonna take you to the apartment that we just closed yesterday. So from here, my tenants is just a short walking distance to the hospital to get to their apartment. So George and I purchased a multifamily yesterday, and I'm doing a short 3-minute walk from where I stood, or even less than that, a 1-minute walk from where I stood to the apartment. And I love this property because it's so beautiful, not only because of the location, but because it's already been finished. And that's the front. I love this exterior finish that the previous owner did, and the Trex decking that they installed, and I got to enjoy the swing set here. So the 3 things that a business, or if you decide to start a business, the 3 important things that you have to do before you start the business, or when you decide to start a business, is number 1, you gotta start, okay? If it's just in your brain, if it's just in the paper, then it's not a business, it's just a business plan. So we've got to start the business, whatever business you think you want to do. Now, I did a show, a recording, it's gonna be out soon, about staying in the cone of your confidence, staying in the circle of your confidence. So that means that if you do not know, study first, because definitely there's so many things that you know that you don't know, and things that you do not know that you even do not know, and they're called black swans. So stay within the circle of confidence. So when you have that business plan and now you're ready to start it, because then everything is tax deductible. So the 3 things that I'm going to share with you are, number 1, the whatever expense, right, a business gets, they are tax deductible in the income. And that is the reason why Trump, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, Mark Zuckerberg, you know, all the big employers, all the big businesses that I named pay less tax than their employees. Why? Because they take big risk, right? When you invest in a business, not only are you emotionally, your time invested into it, but you're taking a big financial risk. And so the government, the IRS, they give us a map, right? A roadmap to follow so that we can reduce our taxes. And why do the government incentivizes the individuals, the businesses, to the citizens of its town, of its country? Why does the government incentivizes it? Incentivizes its individual to start a business, because 1, without the businesses, then there is no improvement. Who's gonna solve your problem? Let's say, for example, you want to build a house and there's no builders, there's no contractors, there's no siding, there's no material. Who's gonna build it? You can build it with natural resources, trees, logs, but that will take you time, a lot of time and effort. So when a person decides that he or she will solve the problem of a particular industry, of a particular town, then the government incentivizes that individual, because now he or she is starting that business. So when you are starting, or when you have a business, all these expenses that you put in, whether it's an office, whether it's your secretary, whether you have the telephone, the tables, the chairs, those are tax deductible expenses. Because why? The government wants you to solve the community's problem, because the government alone cannot fix all our problem. We, the citizens, need to help the government We need to be their partners in solving the community's problem, because in that way, then there's innovation, right? So not only is the he or she individual, the business person, solving the problem, but there's also improvement of that particular problem. There's innovation. That's why there's new technologies. AI is coming. That's why we have self-driving cars, right? That's why we have dishwasher. I mean, the simple pleasures of life, with a touch of a button here in America, a simple dishwasher can do the dishes for you. A simple washing machine can wash the clothes for you. A simple dryer can, do this drying for you. So there's improvement. Now, when you're doing that, there's improvement. There's people that solve your problem. Then the government in return rewards you. It incentivizes you by getting all those tax breaks. They are tax deduction. So those three things when you start a business are: number one, it has to be ordinary in your line of business. What do I mean by it? So if you have an apartment business, okay, if you have an apartment, you cannot buy the groceries and say that this is a tax deductible event. No. If you have a restaurant business, then your groceries that you just bought can be a tax deductible event, because why? They're ordinary expense of a restaurant business. Now, if you have an apartment, let's say hello, thank you for my viewer today. Now, if you have an apartment and you want to provide, a thank you, appreciation day event to your employees where you feed them, so you buy the groceries and then you cook them, then that food is a tax deductible event. Because why? You're now using those food to feed, to show appreciation to your employees. Thank you for the heart, my dear listener. I think they're from Taiwan. Hello, Taiwan. I love you. So it has to be ordinary in your line of business. Number two, it is ordinary. Number two, it is necessary. So for example, I have an apartment business. Now it is necessary for me to have contractors to repair toilet, to repair the plumbing, to repair the siding, to repair, whatever, the roofing, right? So those are necessary. So if I have to buy a siding, if I buy pipes, if I buy electrical outlets, if I buy furniture, those are necessary for me to have my business. So those are tax deductible event, meaning you can offset it from the income of your business. So for example, your income makes $1,000 and you spend $500 for the plumbing, the toilet, okay? And that's without labor. So let's say you spend $500, okay? And that's without labor. So let's say you spend $500. So now $1,000 of income minus $500 for that expense, right? The repair of your business, then you have $500 net that will be taxed. Now that's just a simple math, but it's more complicated. Now you cannot just deduct it, okay? Your apartment needs to be service ready. Thank you for the heart. Now it has to be service ready. What does service ready mean? That means is that your apartment is ready to be lived on, to be rented by a person, okay? You cannot be doing major renovation or major renovation of your property, because why? It is not service ready yet. Service ready means it's good for the tenant to move in and you've advertised it. So now it becomes a repair, okay? Now, so ordinary, we talk about ordinary, the business, the expense being ordinary in the business, the expense being necessary in the business, and third, which is very important, it has to be documented. Good record keeping is the key to it all. Because why? You cannot just receive a credit card statement. No, that doesn't work. What you need to do is get all those receipts. What I do now is take all those receipts, or even ask, let's say for example, I go to Lowe's and I tell, hello, thank you again to my viewer. Thank you for the thumbs up. So when I go to Lowe's, I make sure that they send me two things. One is a printed receipt, and number two, an email receipt. I like to do a belt and suspender approach. Have you heard of a belt suspender? It means you're not relying just on one, either a belt or a suspender. You're using two. that means that you have a belt, but you also have a backup, which is the suspender. So that's the belt and suspender approach. So I love to have two things. Why? Because then that's a good record keeping of your business. So 3 things, right? 3 things that I just mentioned. 1, it has to be expenses, has to be ordinary in your line of business. 2, it has to be all the expenses is necessary for your business. And 3rd, good record keeping. It has to be documented. If it's not documented, it didn't happen. So my dear friends, I hope I provided value to you. And those who do not know me, my name is Ria. I'm a family medicine physician and a geriatric physician, and now I provide housing. That's what I do. I solve the housing problem in my community because we are very close to the hospital. So my tenants are physicians, they're attending physicians, resident physicians, fellow physicians, medical students, and we do have traveling nurses and regular nurses as well, and physicists. So until next time, take care. I hope I provided value, so share. Take care and God bless. Let's go. Well, cannot wait. Bye. Thank you to my viewers. Thank you.